Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about and picking a Mako 427. So here's the actual lock itself. See, it's a padlock format. This one's gutted. I've got it all taken apart. And I've got the cores here and gutted. So I've got all three of the locks that I have laid out because I wanted to see if the pinning was standard on these or random. And when I picked the first two, I actually thought maybe it was standard because both of them were a serrated in chamber 1, a spool in chamber 2, a serrated in chamber 3, spools in 4 and 5, and then a standard in 6. Now when I picked the third one, I actually got different pinning. I got a spool serrated, a spool, 2 serrateds, and a standard. So almost the opposite of what I got down here. So I'm still not sure if these are pinned to some standard format where the first 3 pins alternate and then you get 2 of the same type of security pin in 4 and 5. The standard in 6 seems like it's in every version. So really interested if anyone else has picked one of these. Did you get one of these 2 types of pinning arrangements, either serrated, spool, standard, or spooled, serrated, serrated, standard? Let me know in the comments if yours looked like this. Now, the one thing that was interesting to me is that this spool right here in chamber 2 on the first one that I picked is different than all the other spools from the other locks, or even the spools that were in this one. So I'm not sure why this one spool, which you can see there, is so much thinner than any of these other spools, which are much wider. And I have no idea why that is. I don't know, again, if that's like a random security pin that got thrown in there, or if it's because that spool, like the height that you have to lift it, or what exactly. So that I thought was kind of interesting. These serrated pins have a ton of serrations on them. As you can see, they're very crunchy, very clicky when you pick through them, and a lot of the pins in this lock were very high lift, so those serrateds were very interactive. There's 2 different types of key pins here you can see. The short ones are just regular, but when they get to be over a certain height, they do have a couple serrations on the top of them. That may come into play if you overset that particular pin. And that's basically it. There's nothing interesting in the plugs as far as milling or anything. So these are very similar to other kind of upper tier pin tumbler locks, I guess, that you would look at, like an American 1100 or something along those lines. Not too terribly difficult to pick, but definitely interesting because you get a lot of interaction from the various security pins as you're picking through them. So I only picked 2 of these on video. The third one I picked off because after I got the first 2 open and saw the same pinning arrangement in the drivers, I wanted to see if the third one was also going to be the same, and it wasn't. It was different, but as I mentioned, it's basically just the opposite. So still not 100% sure if these have standard pinning or not. But with that, get over into the next segment, and I will pick and gut 2 of these locks here. All right, here's the Mako 427. And I'm going to use one of the thicker tensioners. I think that's 1.2 millimeters. And I'm actually going to start with a medium hook here because there's enough space in this keyway. Okay, got a couple clicks out of 1. A lot of clicks out of 3, I think that was. 6, something maybe. Yep. 5 is binding. Stuff's feeling loose here. Maybe some counter rotation at a 1. Okay, that was something. This feels like 5 again. Okay, I got something there. 6 maybe. These feel like spools now. 2 feels like it's binding. Maybe not. I think this is 4. Okay. I feel like I'm getting counter rotation at 2, but it might be a 0 lift. So I'm not going to push up too hard on that one. Something might have been overset. Oh, I just let a pin drop, and then I think I got 5 to bind again. This is 4. Saw 1 drop. Okay, that was 2, so maybe 2 is not a 0 lift. Feels like 6 is not set yet, but it's still very springy. It's not binding. Mm, 4. I think that was 4, but it still feels bound. I just tapped something and it opened. So I think something was underset there. All right. Let's go ahead and gut this. So there's a screw in there. I have not taken one of these Makos apart yet, so I'm not 100% sure what we're going to find. I think I need a slightly bigger head on my screwdriver. Screw, drill protection plate, and here's the core. It's got one of those anti-bypass rings. Right there. Let's say you can't stick something all the way through the core, through the back right there, and turn the actuator. Okay, put that down there. Is this follower going to be too big? Yeah, I think I need a small follower. think what I need to do here is I'm actually going to relock this because I want to turn it the other way so that my follower is flush here. So I'm going to lock this. And then I just need to grab the key. And hopefully it's one of these. Okay, it's that one right there. So there's the bitting, if you're interested. And I need to get this C-clip off. See if I can turn this all the way and then I'll pry it off like this. My C-clip wrench needs like one smaller setting for this one, apparently. Just gonna see if I can grab it at the edge here. Use the other side. I have to do the old 2 screwdriver method if I can't get this off here. There we go. Not the most elegant solution, but it worked. All right, there's my C-clip. Turn you this way. Small follower. That worked all right. Let's get these pins out. So these look like serrated key pins, which is similar to an American lock. That one is not serrated. It might be because it's so small. None of those are serrated. So those were very high lifts. So I'm wondering if that's why there's just no room for serrations on that. That would be my guess there. Okay, this is the front. So this is going to be pin number 1. Serrated. Pin number 2 is a spool. It's pin number 3 is serrated again. Pin number 4 is a spool. Okay, so this looks like a pattern here. Pin number 5. Oh, nope, because that's a spool as well. All right, so these may be randomly pinned. Pin number 6 there. See, the springs are in the chambers. I'm not going to take those out. All right, let's take a look here. So I've got 2 serrated. I've got 2 kind of lightly spooled, and then 1 that is a much more severe spooling. That was the one, number 2, that I thought was a 0 lift. So it was giving me a lot of weird feedback. But that's not the case. It was just probably very, had to do a lot of counter rotation because of how deep the spooling is on that. Let's flip these around so that's the right direction. All right, so that's a Mako 427. I've got 2 more of these. I'll probably pick them and just see if the pins look similar or not. The security pinning. But there you go. That is that's a blue belt lock. It may get downgraded though, because it was same line, or not same line, but I think it was pegged at blue because it's similar to the American 1100 or 111. 1100, which was recently downgraded. So, all right, that one wasn't too bad. Mako 427. Okay, here's a second Mako 427. And I've got the key for this one right here. And I'm going to pick and gut this one. And I'm actually going to throw the pins onto the exact same tray as I did the first one, because I'm curious to see if the pinning in these is consistent at all or if it's random. So let's see how this one goes. Okay. Binding at a 1 to start. This is 3. 4. Binding. 6 is binding. Okay, these are gonna definitely have, oh, I got some movement right there. Counter rotation at a 2. That was 5. Let's see if 5 is, can it give me any counter rotation? Doesn't feel like it. 6. Okay. Just need to check some of these other ones here. 3. 4. 4 feels like it's binding, but I'm not getting anything out of it. Still check these again. 2. 3. 7 out of 5. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 5. Need just a little bit of a tap there. So there's that one open. And we'll go ahead and gut this one as well. I know a little bit more what to expect out of these. I feel like it got a little easier. Drill protections. There's my body. Nice thing about these, they are marked on the front of the core which way is the front, so you don't put them together backwards, which is a nice addition. Okay, I'm going to relock this, and we're going to take the C-clip off. Again here, I'm probably going to have similar trouble to the first one I did, so I'll try the same method. Basically, I'm going to hold this one in place and I'm going to push on this one with my screwdriver. Yep, that worked. Okay, and what do I do with the key? There we go. Didn't want to rotate that way. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pop these pins out and I'm going to put them directly above the other one, and then we're going to look and see what similarities and differences we have here. And whoop, number 2 or 3. There we go. Okay, so key pins clearly very similar, as you would expect. Let's see what the drivers look like. Okay, so number 1 is serrated again. Number 2 is not coming out. There's a spring. Okay, there's number 2. It's a spool, but it's not the same, I guess, more severe spool that we saw in the other one. So let's see, pin number 3 here. Pin number 3 is serrated, just like it was in the other one. Pin number 4 is a spool, like it was on the other one. Pin number 5 is a spool, and is pin number 6 a standard? It is. Okay, interesting. So here's my, I lost a spring there. Here's my first and second Makos. So you can see they are both pinned serrated, spool, standard. But the spool in the second position on the first one here is much deeper than the spool on the second one I picked. So that's interesting. I have one more I may do just to check and see what that one looks like. But fascinating, those are slightly different. So, all right, cool. Another Mako 427.